What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp, managing editor of Fightful.com and FightfulWrestling.com. It is February 26th. It is time for the WWE Raw post show here at Fightful.com. Of course, check out Fightful.com and FightfulWrestling.com for all your wrestling news. We also have lots of MMA coverage, lots of boxing coverage. But if you don't like one of the three or any certain amount of them, you can always divide them up. You can go to FightfulWrestling.com, bookmark that, and you get all our stuff from exclusives to podcasts to photos, videos. I do that Fightful Wrestling Weekly where I kind of warned you all that some Brock Lesnar fudgery may be afoot. But make sure you all also check out LivingSharp.com, our great sponsor. If you have trouble coming up with a gift idea, head over to Living Sharp. Even if you just want to get an early start on like birthdays, Christmas, anything like that, LivingSharp.com will have something that you have never seen before and would fit pretty well as a gift. And they have things in all price ranges. Head over to LivingSharp.com. I'm joined by Alex Pawlowski, who was also with me last night for WWE Elimination Chamber. I thought the show was good. We have our full review up, Fightful.com, FightfulPods.com. But here we are, 24 hours removed from that, and leaving the first Raw with Ronda Rousey. What were your impressions of this Raw, as this is the home stretch kind of for WrestleMania on the Raw brand?
Yeah, a lot of storylines beginning to take shape, programs beginning to become evident, some for better, some for worse, some for what the, and we'll see. We'll see where things go. But I, as we'll see in the last segment of the night, I will never not be in awe of WWE's ability to like be telling a story and then take two steps back and then continue to tell the story in a different direction. It's really interesting. It's a fun thing to cover. I'll say that.
We certainly will. Guys, my show notes and my match ratings will be up in the morning on pay-per-view nights. I release them the night of, but go ahead, check those out. See what kind of guides this podcast. We started off with Asuka, Bayley, and Sasha Banks against Alexa, Nia, and Mickie James. Alexa comes out and runs down her opponents from Elimination Chamber, and what I thought was a really awesome promo. She's joined by Mickie James. Oh, boy. Okay, so in previous weeks, Mickie James has known what the deal was. She knows that she's being used. She's been turned on by this woman before. And when Mickie James is out there, she doesn't have the flaps on, so maybe that's the attitude change. But she's like, when Alexa's clowning people, you don't see a lot of nods or any like real acknowledgement from Mickie. So I'm like, okay, maybe Mickey's not down with some of this. But then Asuka comes out without any pomp and circumstance to a very big pop. And Alexa makes fun of her English. Got some really good heat for that. And I mean, you almost had to address it because it was such a glaring part of that episode of Raw. Nia Jax runs out. Asuka briefly fights her off, but then Mickie James gets in on the action too. So there's no mistaking. Mickie James is all in on this Alexa Bliss partnership. Did that bug you as much as it bugged me?
Probably bugged me more.
How do you know? I've not even spoken on how much it bugged me.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying.
I'll tell you how you know, because she wasn't wearing flappy pants. That's the only way it could have been worse for me.
Yeah. This was ridiculous. This was them flipping Alicia Fox back and forth from face to heel whenever they need somebody to be in a 6-woman tag. They did that for a year. Is Alicia Fox like crazy funny or crazy weird? And we'll just figure out what that is. And we'll do it from week to week. It was different. Now, Mickie James apparently has no character motivation, which to me was interesting from as a standpoint, as an actress, as a performer. If the director tells you to do something that goes against your character's motivations, maybe you don't commit to it as much.
Yeah.
kind of subconsciously to say, this is BS. My character wouldn't do this. So maybe they told Mickie, oh, you're with Alexa now. And Mickey's like, but I haven't been for weeks. That's the whole story.
And this is
But
a big reason why I have like you and Jeff and Anna who have acting experience and stage experience and comedy experience and all this stuff. I mean, none of you can act the way that I do, or none of you are funny as me, as we found out by my pinned tweet today. By the way, we'll talk about that in a bit because everybody's asking me about it. But when you're in that role, is it not your job? And this is sorry if I'm like basically asking for a confirmation, but it's my assumption, having no acting experience, that, I mean, it almost is your responsibility to know your motivation and to know your character and to kind of turn into that character and even give some feedback.
Well, yeah, I'm assuming like when you're working with a director who is saying, "Hey, do this," and you say, "Okay, I'll try it and we'll see how it goes," and then you do it bad, so they think, "Well, no, we won't do that. That didn't work." You know what I mean? Because they had an idea and they thought they were really smart, and you were like, "No, my character wouldn't do that." So you kind of sabotage it to get them to go back on their idea. But I don't think I've ever had a director as tyrannical as Vincent Kennedy McMahon, who would fire me on the spot if I told him, "No, my character wouldn't do that." So I don't know what Mickie James, but it did seem to me like she wasn't really down with this whole ridiculous new thing for her character. But hey, but here's the thing. They needed a sixth woman for their 6-woman tag.
Yeah.
Mickie might next week go back on this whole thing and say, "Alexa, I don't even know what I was thinking last week. That was stupid." Who knows? Because the motivations, unless you're in the absolute top level of a women's division, you waffle back and forth because, you know, hey, women, right? They change their mind all the time. Am I right, guys? Is how they seem to be written some of the time, and it's stupid.
And pro wrestlers, especially in this live scenario, don't have the benefit of that, a take for you and a take for me type of thing when they disagree with the character.
Yeah, no, this didn't make a lot of sense to me, especially because she wasn't really vocal, and like she didn't come out and say why now. I mean, I guess the whole thing was she was in there, according to Alexa last night, Alexa from Absolution, but she was eliminated before Alexa ever got in the match. So we never got to see whether or not they were actually on the same page.
Yeah.
So maybe that's a saving grace, but conspicuous in their absence tonight, I thought, were Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose. They just weren't on the show at all.
Yeah, conspicuous by their absence tonight were Paige's hands.
That's true.
That have talk shit, get bit written on them. Now she wears gloves, so
yeah.
No, and like, what she gonna take them off? She doesn't need to. What she might never wrestle again. Whatever. Still, maybe ill-advised if you want to keep that.
Possibly, yeah.
You gonna wear gloves on commentary if they put you there? But you would, Alex. We know you would.
I would. We've had a nice warm snap here in Milwaukee. It's like
your hands must be freezing right now.
No, they're fine now. No. Yeah.
Oh man. So Sasha and Bayley run out and make the save here, and this turns into a damn 6-woman tag team match. The 10th in the last 3 months on WWE programming. And I had somebody say, well, most of them are on SmackDown. I mean, I guess like maybe 5 or 6 of the 10 were, but there's still been a lot on WWE TV. I thought there was some solid work. Nia Jax just ran over Sasha Banks outside. And I wanted to say, everybody in this match, in storyline, is a dumbass going into this. Now, by the end, it wasn't, but Nia Jax has turned on Alexa Bliss, who has turned on Mickie James, who has shown her unwillingness to go along with what Alexa Bliss is doing. Then on the other side, you had Bayley, who's been turned on by Sasha a million times. That sounded bad. But anyway, Bayley dropped to the floor on a tag attempt from Sasha. Sasha gives Asuka the tag, and Bayley came in and helped Asuka, but would not help Sasha. I thought the commentary bringing up Sasha turning on Bayley was a good idea. Don't disrespect our intelligence more than you have to with this Asuka situation. But Asuka gets the tag, runs wild. Asuka submits Mickie. Graves' reaction to Bayley dropping down from the tag, he was so happy.
Yeah, he happier than me. So leave it to WWE to finally have Bayley stick up for herself against Sasha's. There was a great moment where they were going to commercial and they focused in on Sasha beating down on the outside, and you could hear some dude in the front row go, "Why are you such a bad friend?" And that's what I've been wanting people. I want Bayley to be screaming to Sasha for many months now. So Bayley finally sticks up for herself by refusing a tag. Like in a completely inconsequential, meaningless 6-woman tag match, when she could have stuck up for herself on a major stage last night at Elimination Chamber and actually had it mean something and have stakes and push the storyline forward. We didn't get a backstage segment after this. We have no idea what that even means, although and somebody's like, well, she got right back into the match. Somebody tells me on Twitter, well, yeah, she didn't turn on Asuka.
Yeah.
She turned on Sasha. She's not a heel now. She just doesn't like Sasha anymore, which to me is a major storyline development, but they just stuck it in the middle of this inconsequential, meaningless 6-woman tag. I wanted it to be a major development, and it hasn't been yet.
Had a lot of people asking, well, when did Asuka make her decision? Did I miss that? No, this is the part of the year where WWE acts like we're supposed to respect their commentators that are forced to act like they don't remember.
Yep.
Like I said before, if it were up to Graves and Coachman and Cole, they bring this up. Who's Asuka going to pick? But they're told, no, don't do it. Don't address it. Okay, that's weird. Sure, man, whatever. I like the match, though. The match was very, very good. Well executed. A lot of good work there. John Cena comes out, preaches about his failures, and then challenges The Undertaker to a match at WrestleMania. Kind of. Because this swerve and swing from the crowd was great. He built it up, and he said, and that's why I'm going to challenge The Undertaker at WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. And then he goes, and that match won't happen. I bet it. He sold me a ticket.
Yeah, of course. Well, this is the deal. This is at least smart of WWE. If the match can't happen, to address the fact that we all think it's going to. And we know none of us buy that John Cena, says, I don't make the matches. Since when, John? You show up at either SmackDown or Raw and say, I want a shot at the title, and they give it to you because you're John Cena.
On either brand that he wants.
Right, exactly. Wherever he shows up, free agent John Cena, we know that you can get whatever you want. So that's why this is all kind of disingenuous. So to have him go up, but he sold me this. The promo made sense if you don't take into context the fact that it's John Cena talking. But he absolutely sold me. The crowd went nuts for Cena Undertaker match. The way he sold it, like 39 WrestleManias between us. We've never stood toe to toe at a WrestleMania until now. Like that line right there, that sold me on it. Like they've been in more WrestleManias than there have been WrestleManias. That's pretty cool. I like that a lot. But then he's like, that match can't happen. I've been told it's impossible. You've been told by whom? By Undertaker? Undertaker say, John, listen, I can't. My hips. Is that what he said? Because that's fine. But I don't think anybody told you it was impossible. And anyway, if this was what we think it's going to be, that he winds up going to SmackDown tomorrow and finds some way to bribe Shane or letting him make it a 6-way dance at Fastlane, or he challenges Shinsuke at Fastlane for his.
I would expect Nakamura.
If that's the thing, but we know none of that's happening to me, I feel like. And eventually it'll get around to Undertaker showing up and say, I accept. And that's it.
Well, I think they're trying to beef up Fastlane, and they're putting Cena on SmackDown tomorrow night. Thank God. I don't know how often I'll be like, thank God John Cena's on SmackDown, but given the way that things have been lately, thank God John Cena's on SmackDown tomorrow. Loved the promo. I thought it was awesome. I thought he did a great job. Had the crowd in the palm of his hands. There were peaks and valleys, all kinds of an emotional roller coaster was this promo.
The first of 3, maybe even 3.5 great promos tonight on Raw.
Bray Wyatt versus Heath Slater doesn't happen. Wyatt attacks Rhino and then runs over Slater hard. And the way that Heath Slater sold this was great. because he spun around and then continued to like roll around and spin a little bit on the ground. It was great. Delete chants ring out. Wyatt pretends to dance with Slater before hitting Sister Abigail. That was a nice touch.
That was the way he used to hit it in NXT. He used to get him up in the corner and then dance them out of it like he was some weird. It worked with the character. And then they said, okay, no, let's have you do the other thing. But if this is a way for them to get back to what Bray Wyatt used to be, fine. But this whole thing, it made me reminisce about how awesome Slater and Rhino were when they were in their run as tag champs on SD Live, and the whole trailer park stuff. And I Got Kids, and they were amazing. And they got themselves over. They were hugely over. And now the two of them got their butts kicked by the guy who can't win matches. And I felt like that. It just felt like 1,000 years ago where we were thinking, man, SmackDown, that's the A show. Because they even made Slater and Rhino into a major deal. And now it's like SmackDown's just dreck. Anyway, also, Matt Hardy wasn't on the show tonight. He was at home tweeting about it. And he said, I will gladly face you again, Bray Wyatt, but it's going to be on my battlefield. That's what Matt Hardy tweeted. And I hope that means what I think it means.
They've been pushing very, very hard. I can say that I've been told that by other wrestlers. I've been told that by backstage employees, that Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy have been pushing very, very, very hard, with Vince McMahon in particular, to let this go in the direction that they want it to go. So let's hope. I just hope that it's with the right type of production. Oh, speaking of, had a couple of text messages today.
Did you?
In regards to a tweet I made.
Did you?
Had one WWE wrestler that said, let me see. He said, I would retweet your tweet if it wouldn't get me pulled from the show tomorrow. So you can guess who that is. Obviously, they're on SmackDown Live, but yeah. Go check that out, guys. That was kind of my response, my snarky little response to Corey Graves saying that everybody that fancies themselves as a wrestling journalist wants to work for WWE. And as I've said before, I am sure that Corey Graves makes significantly more than I do, but I'm sure that he makes significantly less than it would take for me to move to Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
Can't imagine wanting to live there. What do we got next? Seth Rollins defeated The Miz. This was a good match. The Miz went 45 minutes between promos and matches here. Like he was this Raw's Iron Man. Now, before this, I thought this was a little bit of a bait and switch, because before the commercial, they said The Miz is going to find out who his Intercontinental Championship opponent will be at WrestleMania. And no, he didn't.
Nope, he did not.
And the only reason I'm pissy is because I had an article queued up. I was ready to fill in the blanks, my man. And I didn't get to do it. So I've got that template hot and ready.
Yeah.
How long has The Miz been Intercontinental Champion? How many reigns does he have? When is WrestleMania? That's ready, guys. You'll see it. I thought it would have been hilarious if The Miz found out Braun Strowman was his WrestleMania opponent and then spent the next 6 weeks trying to lose the Intercontinental title so he didn't have to face Braun.
Yeah.
Like I am a fighting champion, and Bo, I will fight you. And then he lays down. And it's 6 weeks of those guys trying not to be Intercontinental.
You're playing hot potato, losing the title among the three of them for 6 weeks.
Like The Miz is trying to convince them to win it. It's prestigious. I brought prestige back to it. Don't you want to have this? That's the only situation where I'd be like happy with somebody like, here, take my title. Because Braun fits that so much. But we got Seth Rollins. This is a well-worked match. It took up some good time. Rollins has just been the MVP of WWE over the past 7-8 days. His sling blade's kind of funny to watch because he barely touches a person's chin, but there's so much motion there that it looks kind of cool. And it's just impressive to see where The Miz is, Alex, compared to a few years ago. He was wrestling a main event, and not the good main event, the show main event.
Yep. Yeah.
So what he's become is just incredible. He is the glue.
Yeah. No, the promo was so fire. Like he comes out there and he does the thing where when the Miz takes off his sunglasses and goes all bug-eyed at the camera, you know something's up. Like this, I love that all of his promos have a little bit of shootiness to them. Like, go up to the merch stand and find my merch. I dare you. Like, I went to WWE.com. He's not lying. He's got one shirt. He's got one shirt that comes in like 3 different, like a youth, a women's, and a men's. He's got another shirt that is just like, they call it a vintage, which means we printed too many of these. We've got a few sizes left. And he got nothing else. Nothing. He's the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time. He's got nothing, which to me is ridiculous. I'd wear.
Well, not yet. He's not.
Well, he will be by the time it's all said and done.
Yes, he will.
He's got a lot more years left
by a long shot.
So this is the kind of thing that he's not telling lies. And I love the idea. Like, I'm your Intercontinental Champion. I'm gonna be wrestling at WrestleMania. Tell me who I'm wrestling, Kurt. You know, like that makes perfect sense. And of course, then you have a guy out here spitting truths, and you get me on his side, and he's the heel. And then the babyface GM says, well, I'll show you who you're going to face. You're going to face these 2 guys. And maybe after you face these 2 guys back to back, maybe I'll tell you which one of them you're going to face at WrestleMania. Aren't I a great babyface GM? And it makes me just go, you guys don't know what you're doing. You're making me root for The Miz, and I shouldn't be rooting for The Miz.
Just love the man's work. He does make it hard to boo him sometimes, and I mean the crowd even reacts accordingly. The superplex and the Falcon Arrow is one of my favorite spots in WWE right now. Rollins slipped a little bit there. I love that Rollins' dive was able to take out 3 people on one spot, and then he does a frog splash all the way across the goddamn ring, Alex.
Yeah. No,
I didn't think he was going to make it, and he barely did.
He barely did. His knees hit first.
I'll allow it.
I will allow it, considering the 8 days this dude has had.
Yes.
Like you need a spa day, Seth. Just take some time for you, because this has been nuts, everything that he's done. That spot, the frog splash, you know, I mean, he's been finishing matches now with the stomp, which is what they're calling the old curb stomp. And he's got that ripcord knee thing, and now he's got this, 3/4.
It's called the Revolution knee now, and I'm like, God damn, man.
The Revolution knee. Okay, fine. I guess the guy that he spins around technically revolves, so it's a revolution. But hey, I'm all for this secondary finisher.
Some say that he started the knee revolution.
It's possible. Some say it's him. Some say it's Paige. Some say it's Emma. But yeah, I was going to say that if this 3/4 of the way across the ring frog splash becomes a secondary finisher that he pulls out when he needs to, I'm all for that too. I love it.
20 goddamn finishers.
I know. I'm all, yeah.
He's got the knee. He's got the frog splash now. He's got the curb stomp. He had the pedigree.
I actually, in that match with Cena last week, the knee into a kick to the gut, into the stomp is a fantastic, like, setup to get to where you need to be to win the match. I think that's a really cool way of doing it.
Well, I think moves like this have to finish people sometimes.
Yes.
That Falcon Arrow's got to finish somebody sometime.
Yeah.
Made my life when Sami Zayn pinned somebody with a Blue Thunder Bomb last month.
I cheered so loud I woke my daughter when Sami Zayn hit that Blue Thunder Bomb.
Exactly. Baron Corbin's got to beat like 9 straight people with that deep 6 he does, because it's an awesome looking move.
It really is.
So, man, I just, I'm a Falcon Arrow advocate.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
Finn Balor comes out and interrupts and has a match, and like Miz has this match scheduled with Finn Balor immediately after, because Kurt Angle has for some reason allowed it, because he's, I don't know, in storyline a dick, I guess.
Yeah.
But Balor gets attacked by the Miz Taraj. The Good Brothers make the save, and Angle orders everybody out.
Yep.
And he tells the Miz that if there's no winner, then he won't face anybody at WrestleMania. It's like, well, hot dog, man. And Graves appropriately calls Miz out and says, well, why the hell doesn't he just take a count out? Yeah. Why didn't he?
Well, because it's more important to represent the company at WrestleMania than it is to keep your title. Like, which doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, it does make sense for a babyface champ, but The Miz is the ultimate, chicken shit heel. He's the guy who should be like, sweet, I get to keep my title for much longer. Excellent. Bye. But no, I guess that's all because they're not allowed to say that WrestleMania payday is really important to me. They're not allowed to say that. Like, that's what it actually is, but they're not allowed to say that. So I don't understand this whole thing of like, I got to have my moment, man. Without my moment, my life is just, it's nothing. It's a weird thing, but yeah, I don't know.
So this is another fine match. I want to say Balor has made an effort to really change up his in-ring work since last summer. I consistently enjoy Finn Balor's in-ring work now, and I've enjoyed more matches of his in the past 6-7 months than I did his entire WWE run up until that point. Because, like I said before that, it was kick, stomp, drop kick over and over and over again. He's really switched up a little bit. I'm not going to pretend I understand that running drop kick to the outside, but whatever. And when he did do some kicks tonight, he stole Daniel Bryan and the Miz's kicks. I thought that was a nice touch, Alex.
No, this is great. No, Finn's on fire now. You can tell he really enjoys, teaming, being around the Good Brothers and allowing it to be that part of the thing. I think that, Miz versus Finn with the Miztourage and the Good Brothers at ringside is ready made for a WrestleMania type thing. But I think, to me, it's rather obvious that they're moving toward a Rollins versus Finn versus Miz match at Mania.
Man, that would be good.
Which would be great. And here's the thing that somebody tweeted. I can't remember who it is. I'm really sorry, but I retweeted this and I said, book this match yesterday. An Iron Man triple threat match. They'll never do it. But but Finn's got an amazing stamina. Rollins last week and Miz tonight proved they can go the distance. So that'd be really cool. And the whole thing is, I've never seen. I have no idea how many there have been in history, but a triple threat Iron Man match to me has all kinds of possibilities of breaking up other dudes' pinfalls so nobody gets another pin. Like that's
let me just bring this up, Alex. The Miz, like I said, went 45 minutes, multiple matches tonight in Iron Man. He lost them both. Seth Rollins did the 65 minutes last week. Finn Balor lasted 57 minutes in the Royal Rumble this year.
Yeah.
He was the Iron Man in the Royal Rumble this year.
They could easily make that as part of their,
It'd be interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think they do it at WrestleMania, but that would be a good one to touch on. But I mean, if they're doing co-branded pay-per-views, when will you ever have time for that again?
You wouldn't.
Who knows?
You wouldn't.
Either way, I think that it's going to be a fun match. Rollins was not impressed backstage after Balor won, and understandably so. Don't blame him. Oh, this Roman Reigns promo. A lot to touch on here.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns comes out and says that he's not going to cover for Lesnar. Lesnar is not in Las Vegas, and Lesnar was supposed to be there tonight. If you all read my Fightful Wrestling Weekly, it drops Fridays early in the morning. Got about 1,000 words worth of scoops in there. I mentioned that a pretty solid source. I couldn't verify it with the second person, so I didn't run with it. That's a kind of a rule that I have. It's a basic rule of journalism, but I spoke to a very reliable source who told me that Brock not only was trying to leverage his WWE deal against UFC, but he told Vince that he was out for SummerSlam, even though that technically he's supposed to be contracted through SummerSlam because WWE froze his contract in 2016 when he took the UFC deal. Now, the irony of that is he wasn't scheduled to do anything for WWE during that time, but they said, if we're going to let you do this, freezing your deal. He said, okay. And then situations arise. He did not come to Anaheim tonight. He was in Las Vegas yesterday. As you could see on social media, he was with Dana White of the UFC, and a lot of people were saying, maybe it's an old picture. It was not an old picture. It was a new picture. He was in Las Vegas. He was set to go to Anaheim. Don't know what happened yet. Working real hard to find it out. Hoping I'll have something on tomorrow night's post-SmackDown show. Definitely will for the Listen You Boy. but Roman Reigns and his sentiments were echoed, and there was some sense of truth rooted in that, Alex, and that's what made the promo so damn good.
Yeah, this is the Roman Reigns that I can get behind. This guy
And
who
stab in the back, right? Because you hate Reigns.
No, that's the thing, is that I want to like the guy because he turns in really good matches. I just don't like the way that there's no way to beat the guy kind of a thing. I don't like that. But from bell to bell, like without the booking crap, I think he does really great stuff. And I feel like there's a chance. There was that thing, after he beat Taker last year and he came out and just let the booze rain down him for 10 minutes or however long it was. And then this is my yard now. Like, that was great. This was even better because it felt like there's a whole bunch of dudes in the back who absolutely feel that way about Brock Lesnar. Like, this guy just hide behind his contract. He shows up whenever he feels like it. We're out there busting our asses all the time. Dean Ambrose has to be out for months because of his elbow. He hadn't had a day off in a year or more. Like, these guys, they're out there all the time. Everything that Roman Reigns said is objectively true. Now, you could say, well, that's Brock's contract. I'm like, yeah, I agree. That is Brock's contract. They signed him to that contract. But I guarantee you there's a lot of people out there, maybe Roman included.
You know what else's contract was? Showing up to Raw tonight.
That's true.
His contract was showing up to a Raw last year that he walked out of.
Yes.
His contract was show up at WrestleMania, and it's hard for me to say that he showed up to WrestleMania in that match against Dean Ambrose, as Dean Ambrose very publicly stated on the Steve Austin show. Brock Lesnar gets this WrestleMania. It's like senioritis, but for wrestlers. He gets mania-itis, where 2004, he's not motivated, tough shit, whatever. The Dean Ambrose thing, he just doesn't show up and he just doesn't do the job. You can't blame the Undertaker concussion on him, but I mean, Undertaker got concussed in that match. Yeah. That sucks. You can hardly blame Lesnar for that. A few years ago, before the match with Reigns, he was, am I in WWE or am I going to UFC? Which am I gonna do? You won't know. And here we are again, like the fourth or fifth time this has happened.
The thing I loved about this promo is that it did feel like this was Reigns shooting from the heart, whether or not how much of it was a work shoot. But I also love that it was framed as, this is going to get me in trouble with you-know-who, but I'm going to say it anyway because you guys need to hear it, because you need to know how I feel. And then it ends with, I'm going to go out in the back and I'm going to get my ass chewed out, whatever. I don't care. It needed to be said. It's amazing how much the overall impression of Roman Reigns is this entitled guy who's got Vince backing him no matter what or whatever. And just the idea that you would say Vince is going to hate that I'm going to say this, even if that's not true at all, it frames it as like, hey, I'm kind of one of you guys. I understand how it works. And also, I know a bunch of you out there also hate that he's a part-timer and that we've kept our title on him for a full year and he's wrestled less minutes than Seth Rollins has in the past week over the past year. I know you guys all hate that. I hate it too. That felt like it was like him wanting to be a part of us. It felt it felt authentic, it felt real, and it was a very interesting turn. If this becomes like Roman Reigns as the people's champ against the entitled part-timer Brock Lesnar, this is a guy you can root for in that match if the match actually happens.
Well, I'll say this was the best step that they had in going that direction. Yeah. I'm not going to say that that's going to push him over the top and make everybody cheer him, but this series of circumstances is a good one. And, if ultimately it's one big giant work, then, ooh, what a good work that would be.
It's a critical and very good first step into getting him to be where they need him to be.
And the thing is, the reason why one has to be skeptical of this is because so often WWE can't think outside of the box in this manner and hey, let's send him to Dana White. Let's show everybody he was in Vegas, but not in Anaheim.
Right.
WWE doesn't ever, I don't want to say ever, doesn't often think outside the box like that. They would rather have the guy show up and do a tug of war with the Starburst Red Championship, Favor Reds Championship. But
yeah,
I thought that Roman Reigns did awesome. He didn't talk too much.
Nope.
He wasn't out there for 10 minutes. He did his thing. Raw Tag Team Championship, 2 out of 3 falls. Why is this match happening again?
Because there is literally no one else for the Bar to face.
We'll talk about that. There is, but we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
Sheamus immediately brogue kicks Titus for a win. 2 out of 3 falls match. Titus gets Sheamus with a horrifying looking Dominator.
Oh, man. Oh, Titus, no. No, Titus.
Don't do that. Don't do that. And that's not. It's a no.
No.
Don't.
Apollo
dives
out. That's a bad Titus. That's a bad Titus.
I'm shocked that Coachman didn't complain about Apollo's dive onto the Bar. The Bar retained with their finish. This was just okay. And
it's fine.
Oh, my God. This is like the 5th or 6th match between these two in the last month.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is egregious. Now, I love the promo afterwards where Sheamus and Cesaro said, we've been through everybody. The Hardys, New Day, Jason Jordan got hurt. Dean Ambrose got hurt. Everybody's hurt. Everybody sucks. This really, really looks like it's leaning towards the direction that we were speculating last night, Alex.
Yeah. It's like, and here's the thing. I love the idea. It's like, now here's the deal. We're going to get punished because we're so good. Who's there to punish us? And I'm like, oh, come on, man. Just please do that thing that I said. Because if you didn't watch last night or listen last night, my idea is that the winner of the Dusty Classic in NXT is coming up to face the Bar at Mania. And I think it's going to be Authors of Pain.
Are the finals of that at TakeOver?
I have not heard when the actual timeline of that. I just saw the bracket.
AOP have been ready for a while because as we've learned with people like Alexa Bliss and Braun Strowman is you don't have to have all the tools these days because back in like 10, 15 years ago, if you didn't, you would get exposed because they would put you with other people who didn't have the tools.
Right.
These days, they are putting you with people who do have tools that complement the ones that you do or don't have.
Right.
And the Authors of Pain have shown that they are more than able to be carried to a great match. Yeah. So when you show that you are able to be carried to a great match, that's pretty nice, especially when one of those teams or 2 of those teams are the Revival and Cesaro and Sheamus. You can get to something there. Cesaro and Sheamus versus AOP, that's going to be a banger.
Yeah. Oh, literally. These guys are going to bang the hell out of each other.
Sir.
You know, with like
called for.
With kicks and punches, I mean.
Excuse me, sir. Jeez. Yeah, guys, visit our wonderful sponsors over at livingsharp.com, where if you and your partner bang the hell out of each other, you can get the Love is Art kit, where you can kind of get your freak on and make some paint with it as well. livingsharp.com. You forced that, Alex. I had to go into a segue there because that's the only way that I could.
Yeah. Yep.
Elias versus Braun Strowman. Elias comes out and takes a shot at Corey Graves, which is kind of appropriate because Graves has been doing it for years. And then Michael kind of reiterates it afterwards. What do you think of that?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
This match is basically a hope spot for Elias and then Braun stalking him the whole time.
Yes.
Then Elias extinguishes Braun Strowman. I mean, you got to do what you got to do, right?
Yeah, no, this is good. Well, no, this is the thing. I'm watching this going, I don't understand what the end game here is. Because, like, Braun, this is the thing that they did. They did the same thing with Survivor Series. They had Braun look as strong as possible in that match. Then after the match, he does the I don't like to be confused beat down of Triple H, which led to precisely nothing. And last night, he eliminates all 5 dudes, takes 1,000 finishers from them during the course of the match, takes 2 back-to-back spears from Roman, the most protected move in sports entertainment, and then gets pinned. And immediately after being pinned, like 30 seconds later, he's up and he's smashing Roman all over the place, throwing him through a pod. And then the next night, I'm going to beat up Elias because that's the next step in his storyline progression.
It's weird.
It's not going after Roman and saying like literally like you got lucky last night only because you had the help of 5 other dudes.
Come on, you don't have to. Braun will never say that. All he'll say is, "I'm not finished with you," and there you go. That's all.
But I'm saying like that's the storyline progression. Is basically Roman got lucky. That's the whole idea. And I honestly thought after the match ended last night and the way they went off the air, they were building towards something where somehow Braun was going to get inserted in that Roman versus Brock match. Now, after tonight, it really looks like the direction they have for Braun at Mania is versus Elias.
I don't know. Well, there's a lot of time, man.
There's a lot of time, but Elias got the better of him, hit him with a fire extinguisher. He got chased all the way out of the loading dock, and Braun screams at him, "I'm not finished with you," which at the very least means there's at least 3 more matches left. You know what I mean?
Now, like I said, if they're going this route, I would just assume both of them be in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And what I would like is for Elias to be hiding behind a sea of people on one end of the ring and for Braun to eliminate every single person until he finally gets his hands on Elias. That has to happen one year at an Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Braun has to eliminate every single person from the match.
I guess the thing is if they hadn't had Braun just have match after match of fantasticness, including an amazing match versus Roman at Fastlane a month before Mania, and then like he tears down the ring versus Big Show. He had so much momentum going into Mania last year, and they just put him in the Battle Royal, which he didn't even win. Like 2 years in a row, this Braun Strowman in the Battle Royal at Mania would be a travesty. Like this guy needs a real program going into Mania.
His last singles win on pay-per-view was in June, I think.
Yeah. Well, the thing is they always wind up putting him in a match where he can smash as many people as possible. Like he doesn't have.
I mean, that keeps him over. Destroying stuff and people keeps him over.
Sure.
So there's a limo pulls up, and this isn't paid off at all.
Never paid off. Nope.
Odd.
I guess we're to assume that was Stephanie and Triple H, but they're never shown getting out of it. So I guess
because Rousey doesn't have any perks.
Nope.
You mentioned this on Twitter. 3rd straight week, no cruiserweights on Raw. One would think that they would want to push this cruiserweight championship tournament on Raw, maybe have a match from it on Raw, a real barn burner.
One would think,
but they didn't. That's a little odd.
Here's my thing. They've released the brackets. The brackets are at once super exciting and fill me with dread because there's so many of my favorites who face each other along the way. And the brackets don't seem to be even. Like on one side, a potential 3rd round, like a semifinal match, is Cedric Alexander versus Roderick Strong, which to me, like that looks like a final on paper. So to me, like you could easily do this. You could say that match gets a marquee spot on an episode of Raw a week before Mania. Like that would be a really good way of doing it. Like get that up there, but. You should see this Women of Honor bracket. Like it's so funny the way it is. I reviewed several of the matches on Fightful this weekend. So head over to our results section. It's over there. But it's like good worker. Oh, shitty worker, but you know they're going to push him. Yeah.
So I'm like, there was a really good match between Kelly Klein and Bonesaw Brooks that you all should check out. That one was a good one. I'm excited to see Emma in that as well. Deonna Purrazzo was awesome. There's some good stuff in that Women of Honor tournament. So the good with the bad, but oh well. Main event time: Ronda Rousey, Stephanie McMahon, Triple H. Triple H and Stephanie are out and say that Rousey is WWE's property. Things will go smoother when she learns her role and when Kurt apologizes. Okay, so this made it very clear that Stephanie, who was like, "Oh, we'll smooth things out" last night, no. I mean, you knew how it was going to come out. Instead of Kurt, Ronda comes out and she makes a beeline for the ring, has her hair put up, looks angry, and Kurt Angle stops her. And Kurt Angle says that he lied and says that things would go a lot better and that he needs this job.
That's the best part. I got to be honest with you, Ronda. I really need this job. Yes. Like, that was the most honest Kurt Angle's been. It felt like that was
He's real shit. I just got another kid, so I really need this job. He should have said that. Rousey took the mic, and boy, did she look more comfortable tonight.
She sure did. Yeah, that was...
Boy, what a difference a night makes.
Yeah. Yeah, she looked real good. Like, real good. Like, better than most of the women on the roster.
Oh, yeah.
In this promo. I don't know how that's going to... Last night, not great. Not great at all. Tonight, outstanding. Who knows what it is in the future, next week and beyond. But tonight, she looked and sounded the part.
I'm told that she was a big hit backstage among wrestlers and that she's getting along swimmingly and that they are taking to her very well, too. Good. So I'll say this, a far cry from the guy who was targeted in a promo earlier in the evening because, like I said, the Reigns promo rooted in truth. The Rousey thing, at least as of right now, I'm told she's well liked.
That's good.
Kurt. So Ronda says that she's never been slapped, isn't anybody's property, and won't be disrespected. Kurt said that he lied and that he had pneumonia last week. He goes, I don't even remember what I said.
Oh God, what a goof. I believe he had double pneumonia, which is just fantastic.
Oh, it was great. Rousey says that she'll rip Stephanie's arm out of its socket if she doesn't apologize. And I love how quickly and genuinely Stephanie obliges.
Yep.
She's like, okay, let's all put this behind us. I am so sorry. I don't want to die.
Because this is the great thing. This is the swerve that sometimes really works in the opposite direction, where you expect the McMahon to be defiant and say, I don't apologize to anyone. You expect that, but it's so great and works perfectly with the characters of, like, I demand an apology, and Stephanie gets right up and on his face and goes, I am so sorry. I really should not have slapped you. So that was my bad. I was very cranky. Didn't eat much that today. Like, that was great. And yet, I will say, it does feel like they tried to retcon a lot of stuff that happened last night on the pay-per-view. Of like, no, we're cool because everything Kurt said last night was a lie because he had pneumonia, which makes you lie apparently. That was a weird thing to like just say all that stuff didn't matter. I guess we'll find out next week that Kurt was lying when he said he was lying about saying the things, because that's what they do. They just like go back on themselves over and over again. But we thought this had all ended perfectly, and because Ronda demanded an apology, or else I'll rip your arm out of its socket. I will not hesitate to rip your arm out of its socket, which was a good little addition there. And Stephanie apologized, and we were all hunky-dory. And then for some reason, Paul hits Kurt right in the mush
hard
and leaves. Like, and it goes, what? Why would that happen? And it felt like one of those WCW exits. Like, what happened? I guess we'll find out next week.
We're out of time. Yeah. Who drove the limo?
Exactly. Who's in that limousine? I don't know. It's one of those things like, okay, well now the storyline isn't about Ronda being angry at Stephanie for slapping her. It's a thing between Triple H and Kurt Angle. And then Ronda Rousey's not really the agent of this story right now. I think, as I said, they'll completely go back and do a 180 on it next week. But it seemed like they were headed for Ronda versus Stephanie. Stephanie is disrespecting Ronda. Ronda won't take that. But having, as much as it was funny, having Stephanie immediately apologize kind of neuters that conflict there. And now Kurt's angry because Triple H punched him. That's why we're getting this Mania match, maybe?
Yeah.
Question mark?
Overall, I thought there was a lot of good on this show. Didn't mind it at all. Thought it was a pretty good episode of Raw.
It's fun.
Guys, I want to encourage you to head over at FightfulWrestling.com. You'll see an exclusives tab. We have a lot of stuff that you won't get at any other wrestling website. Anna interviewed TMDK after New Japan in Perth. I have a full interview with Rhett Titus talking about the tumultuous situation with Kenny King over the years in Ring of Honor. Pearl Gonzalez says that her wrestling gimmick would be the clam. I think that would be ill-advised. UFC fighter, new star Curtis Millender explains about using Cesaro's entrance taunt as his own in the UFC, and he's a big WWE fan. He wants to avenge CM Punk's loss on behalf of Punk against Mickey Gall. Anna did a great review of New Japan in Perth. That was awesome. We have contract expirations and an injury report up that no other website has. I had a story last week where Jinder Mahal had earned the respect of some of his peers after working through his labrum injury through late last year, early this year. I have from a couple weeks ago that kind of went under the radar, Muhammad Hassan and the return of Wikipedia Fact Check. That's where I go through a person's Wikipedia page with them, and they decipher what's true, what's false. And Muhammad Hassan was kind enough to do that to me. I've spoken to him a few times. Really the only person to do that in the past decade or so. Lots of cool stuff over in our exclusive section that you will only find at Fightful.com. And, of course, we have all of our podcasts, post SmackDown, post Raw. The List and your boy, Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern. If you are not watching that show on Wednesdays, you're missing out. That is a hoot. A hoot! Also, I want you guys to head over to our friends at Pro Wrestling Unlimited. I'm sure you've seen some of their videos before. They are the biggest and the best in this video spectrum, and they do a lot of live shows too. Usually they go on right as we're going off the air, so you'll get an extra hour or so of coverage to listen to. I was on one of their shows last week. We're going to syndicate List and your boy on their weekly where you can catch it on our channel or their channel. You'll see them doing a lot of videos for the Fightful Wrestling Weekly. I'll make appearances here and there. They are great people, and I love working with them. As you all have seen, I've done some news videos myself, and I wanted to work with the best in that spectrum. We're always trying to do things a little bit differently at Fightful and branch out and do different things and new things. I mean, for the love of God, we have Alex writing about fighting bears and stuff. So,
yeah,
Alex, I cannot tell you how bummed I was that your computer was in the shop the night that Melissa Santos took to Twitter to say that Brian Cage had a, quote, yummy and good-looking penis, end quote. Although I can guarantee you that you were thrilled that your computer was in the office because you know who's getting that assignment.
Yes, I do. If I have a word processor handy, I will be on the penis beat, so to speak.
Where do I go from here? What do I do?
I don't know.
Guys, check out my pinned tweet. Also, our lead MMA writer, David Teasy, covers Monday Night Raw, has a You Caring account. His mother's battling cancer, kind of wants to live out her remaining years where she's most comfortable. If there's any way that you all can give to that, I really, really encourage it. David Tease is an excellent guy and does a lot of awesome work for us. A work ethic second to none. So please, if you're able to, head over to his Twitter. It is at Fight MMA Machine. And please help out any way that you can. I donated myself, and I really encourage you guys to as well. Leave us a thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff. But most importantly, I want you guys to head over to ProWrestlingTees.com/Fightful. There's a sale right now. Use the code, all caps, new site, and you get 20% off. We have a Fightful Mania shirt up there. We have the Ya Boy shirt. We have the classic Fightful. And going away soon, You Have Opinionated Wrongfully. If you want that shirt, you got to get it soon. Use that code, all caps, new site, to get 20% off over at ProWrestlingTees.com/Fightful. You can follow Alex at Pawlowski the Fourth. And what do you have going on this week, Alex?
I don't know yet. I'm sure there'll be something wacky and crazy.
You gotta wait until somebody does something stupid.
Something crazy, wacky, stupid. Involving a penis. And I'll be there to write about it, apparently.
Guys, don't forget to subscribe. Visit our friends over at PWU, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Until next time, guys, we are out.